All right, I don't have a whole lot of time this morning, but I wanted to show some things I was looking at. This is a chart that I had made up for the presidential election timing, and I think that it really nails the patterns better than anything. The halving still, even though you see people saying, no, the halving doesn't have anything to do with it anymore, it still does. I mean, you're going to see things like that where people try to, you know, get clicks because they're going against the trend or something about the halving. I think you'll still see a breakout after the halving as long as we still have that right translated move, which is basically, this right here, where you've probably seen other people talk about it, where you have these long 4-year cycles, or they're 4 to 5 year cycles. They might be extending, but you'll have about a 1 year downtrend, and then it'll move up. If things were going to change this time, then we would have had a pump quicker, and that would be left translated, meaning the pump would happen before the halving, just as an example. So I think we're still going to have the pump after the halving, just like we did back here. And that halving date would be around April something 2024. I don't know exactly when. But getting back to this chart, I think that it would help people a lot to see this. Back here, and I have posted this on my Twitter before, which is just bike for sale. If you go on to Twitter and you want to find it. Let's see. So initially, I think I made this back in like late 2022. And I noticed that every time right before midterms or right around midterms, there would be about a 50% drop on Bitcoin. Happened here. So I kind of expected it to happen here, and it didn't. But the nice thing is that it actually did find the bottom anyway, around that midterm date. And I'm talking about the presidential election here. I know some of you aren't in the US. But anyway, the thing to know here is going forward, this is basically just a fear and greed index down here. It's called Krypton Fear and Greed. You can find it on TradingView. The thing to notice on it is that anytime it's in the red up here on this top line, that means people are being very greedy. And usually that's about where you want to start taking profits. So one way you could play it is, we'll just take this for example. This was the 2019. This was like the 2020 first pump, or the 2019 first pump that went down into the March 2020 dip. So what you could have done here is it's really similar to what happened here in a way. So you could have played, this was oversold down here. You could have bought when it broke back above the line, because you actually got a little bit of a bullish divergence there. So that would have put you buying it here. And then you could have waited until this one exited down. So people were getting greedy here, and you would have been looking at something like this. And so as time went along, you could have exited right there when it came out of the bottom. Went from the red solid area down to the line, and that would have gotten you out, right near the top. Of course, this is a weekly chart, so you would have had to been patient. But things like this over here, when you have a major bull market, it's harder to do something like this. And I don't really know how you would keep from getting out and not knowing when to get back in. So that's why I have this chart the way it is. And the way to play it is, as this stays green, which I have to look back and see what this is. This is called Easy Scalp by Mr. Hokage. As this stays green, you don't get out at all. You just stay in your trade. If you want to play it more macro and you don't want to play ins and outs and day trade and that sort of thing. But then when this line turns yellow up here, then that's when you could take your profit if you wanted to. So you would have seen it exited out of here, then you would have seen this turn yellow, and you said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take some profits. And sure, you wouldn't have gotten out at the top, but you would have saved yourself all this downward move here. And then, on this move, like I was talking about just a second ago, it went from being way oversold, and you got your bullish divergence, came up here, It was back to overbought, and people were getting greedy, and then it turned yellow about right there. So really, you could have exited there, or you could have exited about right there where it turned yellow, and you still would have saved yourself all that drawdown from the March 2020 dip. And then it got, people were fearful again down here when it was way oversold. And then you got your bullish divergence again, and you could play that little one there, but it's harder to play those quicker ones like that. Me personally, I'd rather see a big, long, extended bear market and then get back in, and I feel much better about my position. And I still day trade. I mean, this is a different type of trade here. This is a macro trade. So currently what I'm looking at is you've got a bearish divergence happening here. People were greedy on this move up. And I mean, here's another thing to look at right here. If you get really zoomed out, you can see there was a lot of people, as this came up and came back down back in 2021, January, a lot of people were buying right here at the support line. And then it came back down in July 2021. Same thing happened here. People were buying here. You got these long wicks into this support line. And so we lost that during the bear market. It came under it. And then we found another support line here. It came under it just a little bit and then popped back up. And then you have this wick, this quick wick down to the support line again for a retest. And now what you're seeing, if you zoom out again, is you're getting a lot of wicks into this area. Like if I circle, it's kind of right in that area right there. You can see these wicks are coming up into that. So there's another resistance line kind of right in here, maybe a little bit higher. And that's what we're running into. And that's why we had a dip. There's really not a whole lot of support here, except what was created from this move up. And then it kind of created a support line. So I would suspect that this is going to break down. And if I was looking for a place that it was going to hold, it would either be right here at 24.5 or so. There's another pretty strong one right here at 21.7, maybe 21.8. And then of course this purple line as well. So that's what I'm kind of looking at currently. And if you really zoom out here, there's a lot of people talking about 10K. I don't know that it would ever make it down to that. I mean, if I was going to guess as to what would happen, I would suspect something more like a double bottom, or a bullish divergence like that, where it just comes back down to the support line and then moves back up. Or you see something like this, where it goes a little bit lower and you end up having this lower low happens, but down here on the momentum, say whatever momentum indicator you're looking at, like say me, for example, I look at Market Cipher B, and you might see something like, I mean, this would be on a much longer extended time frame, but you might see something like this. And then that's your bullish divergence, because as price is coming down, creating a bearish lower low on momentum, you're getting a higher high. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, I don't think you want to be buying too much right now. Although I will say this, on my Twitter, I did post that I bought, I forget where I bought at. I think it was like 53 cent XRP. And the reason why I did that is because sometimes it'll just come down and you'll get a play just ahead of the support instead of it coming all the way down. But I did mention in the Twitter post that it could come down to 48 cents, which is what it did. But currently you've got a lot of bearish looking, if you're just talking about the momentum here on Market Cipher B, there's nothing showing just yet that it's ready to move back up. So we may go sideways for a bit. And XRP does that. It'll have a quick move and then it'll not do nothing for a week or two and then it'll move again. It's just the way it works. But currently money flow is in the negative. So all I'm doing is trying to build a spot position. And, one thing you can do, there's a guy named Pip Snipers on YouTube. If you want to look him up, he has kind of the same idea here. But what I'm thinking is there's a lot of support down here, kind of right in this area. And that would be right around, I don't know, 40 cents, 39 cents maybe. And it could still come down here to, 34 or something. And that would still be a higher low. But what I was planning on doing is I've got a 40 cent or 42 cent limit buy order set. And I like to get in before these things happen, just in case it turns around quickly. And waters above, I've got a little alert here for myself. Waters Above sees the same thing. If you don't know him, look him up on YouTube as well. But he's seeing, maybe around 40 cents, 42 cents. But, definitely you can come lower than that. It can happen. Okay. That's all I got. Y'all have a good one.